In this microcast, CCI founder and CEO Jake Weiss explains the importance of growth mindset, a factor that is essential and foundational to elevating an individual's coachability to elite levels.
So with growth mindset, we view it as a foundational piece to coachability. If you don't believe you can grow and get better, then the 9 other factors in the assessment don't really have any impact or any value for you. If you don't believe you can improve, then why would you seek out, why would you be open to coaching and feedback in that area? So we do view growth mindset as foundational. And a point I always note with this factor, because there is controversy in the literature about growth mindset, is that within the assessment, we're not equating growth mindset to higher levels of performance. So growth mindset doesn't lead to higher performance, but growth mindset is a prerequisite to higher levels of performance. If you don't believe you can improve, you won't put the work, the effort in to get better and to grow in certain areas. So I just want to call that out for anyone that digs deep in the literature and is wondering about if we're measuring it with respect to performance or just generally to look at it as a foundational piece of coachability. So from our view, it's foundational, so that you do put the effort into getting the feedback and putting the work into getting better. Now, interpreting this factor, a couple things to note. We typically contrast growth mindset with fixed mindset, which many people have heard of. Carol Dweck is the pioneer in the space. And just the contrast with growth mindset, we believe that with effort, with practice, our skills are developable. We can get better, we can grow. We're not static, but we have room to improve. With fixed mindset is where we often believe that we are who we are, that I'm as good as I'm going to be, and no amount of feedback or coaching is going to help me get better. This is just who I am. The important piece to note is that growth mindset and fixed mindset are domain specific. So the way we want people to interpret growth mindset is not, I either have a growth mindset generally or I don't, but it's to identify within your domain of performance, which skills do you believe you can grow and get better at? And which skills do you have a more fixed mindset around, where you have gotten them to the level they're going to get, you're not going to get any better at them. So that's the importance of growth mindset within the assessment, is really understanding that it's domain specific, that you might have the belief that you can grow in certain areas of your performance, and there might be other areas of your performance that you're more fixed. How do we shift from fixed to growth? And how do we put the effort in to get better at those areas that we might not have as much efficacy or confidence in that we can improve? So with growth mindset in here, the two most important points is that it's foundational. If you don't believe you can get better, you won't put the work in to get better, which is why it's the first factor within the assessment. The other piece is the domain specificity. And what that requires people to do is really think hard about which areas of their performance and of their skill sets do they believe they can improve, and which areas do they believe that they're just fixed in, and then how do we shift them? So that's some of the important context to note with that factor. Now, an example of this that I often talk about, I've worked with a head of sales from the pharma industry for the past 5 years or so, and by all accounts, he's a great leader. He's built sales forces all across the world, within different markets, within different spaces in terms of disease states, really good at what he does. And his traditional style of leadership was directive. That was more what he aligned to. That's how he led. He was quick to tell people how they needed to do things because they were moving quickly. And as he got introduced to this concept of coaching, as we were working together, he held more of a fixed mindset around coaching. So he was great at leading. He was great at building teams, great at delegating, had a growth mindset there. But when it came to coaching, he said, I've just always had this more directive style, and I don't know that I can actually take on a coaching approach. I don't know that that's something that I'm good at. I'm just good at what I do and how I do it. Had a more fixed mindset around coaching. As he started to see the value of coaching and how he could develop and empower people in the organization, how it retained more talent, he started to see the value in shifting in that direction and put the work in to actually get better at it. And now he still has the directive nature if he needs it, but he's a great coach. He coaches, he develops people, he helps people realize their potential that they didn't see in themselves. And I think it's a great demonstration of having that fixed mindset, seeing the value of taking on a different approach and putting the work into shift. So when we talk about growth and fixed mindset with respect to the assessment, it's important to note those points that I shared, but also this example I think really brings to life how we're not just fixed, but there are opportunities for us to grow, and we can identify skills that we can put that growth mindset toward and capitalize on it by actually improving.
Thank you for listening to this CCI Microcast. To learn more, visit coachabilityconsultants.com.